time is the quiet companion that walks beside every soul, whispering its truth whether we listen or not. It does not slow down because we are tired, nor hurry because we are eager. It keeps its own rhythm, its own mystery, its own steady pulse. And though we speak of it as something slipping through our fingers, the truth is that it is not time that slips away. It is we who fail to hold it with intention, with reverence, with gratitude. When we treat time as if it were our burden, we miss the gift that it truly is. When we treat it as if it were our enemy, we overlook how gently it has been guiding us all along. And when we waste it thoughtlessly, we betray the very life we have been given. There comes a moment in every person's life when they must stand before the mirror of their own being and ask, "What have I done with the time that was mine?" Not the time given to impress others, not the time spent chasing echoes of approval, but the sacred hours, the quiet hours, the hours in which we shape ourselves. For time is not measured in clocks or calendars, it is measured in choices. You are not defined by the seconds that tick away in silence. You are defined by what you choose to do within them. You cannot allow the world to drag you into its chaos, its noise, its competition, its illusions. The world will try to convince you that your worth is in your achievements, your awards, your visibility. But none of that can give meaning to time. And if time has no meaning, neither does the life that holds it. When you let other people control your hours, you surrender your power. You hand over the greatest treasure you have to those who cannot value it for you. No one will protect your time better than you. No one will guard your dreams, your peace, your growth, your healing better than you. If you don't become the guardian of your time, you will wake one day to find that your life has been lived in the margins of other people's desires. There are seasons when time feels long and seasons when it races by. There are days when the sun seems to linger in the sky just for you, and nights when the darkness feels like it will never leave. But the truth is, time is not the enemy of your dreams. It is the canvas upon which you paint them. And if you choose to waste that canvas with fear, with doubt, with waiting for permission that will never come, you stand to lose far more than the moment. You stand to lose yourself. Do not waste your time with people who see your light and become blind with jealousy. Do not waste your time trying to convince those who refuse to understand you. The world is full of people who judge without knowing, criticize without thinking, and speak without listening. Let them. Their noise is not your responsibility. Their opinions are not your concern. Your time is too precious to be spent trying to prove your worth to those committed to misunderstanding it. Walk your path with dignity, and let your footsteps be steady. Those who are meant to walk beside you will walk beside you. Those who are not will fall back into the shadows where they belong. There are hearts that will try to borrow your time, but will never spend their own. There are hands that will reach for you, only when they need what you carry. There are voices that will sing your praise today and speak your doubt tomorrow. Waste no time on such companions. Waste no time on relationships that drain your spirit and leave you smaller than before. Waste no time apologizing for your growth. Waste no time dimming your light so someone else can shine more comfortably. If someone feels threatened by the brightness of your soul, let them look away. You were not made to shrink. You were made to expand, to rise, to unfold in the fullness of your truth. And do not waste your time holding on to pain as if it were a treasure. Heartbreak may visit you, but it is not meant to become your permanent address. Loss will come to your door, but it does not intend to build a home inside you. Every wound you carry is real, but so is your power to heal. You cannot walk into the promise of your future while carrying the ruins of yesterday in your arms. Set them down gently. Honor them, yes, but do not chain yourself to them. Time is offering you new moments, new growth, new beginnings. But it cannot place new blessings in hands that refuse to release what has already passed. There is a kind of courage that grows in the quiet, when no one is watching, when no one is praising, when no one is celebrating you. And that courage is born from how you choose to spend your time. If you spend it complaining, you will grow bitterness. If you spend it gossiping, you will shrink your spirit. If you spend it comparing your life to others, you will lose sight of your own potential. But if you spend your time learning, loving, forgiving, evolving, you will rise into a strength that no one can take from you. True strength is built in the unseen hours, the early mornings, the difficult nights, the moments when you choose discipline instead of distraction. Your time is the soil, your decisions are the seeds. Be careful what you plant, and do not waste your time waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment does not exist. The perfect feeling does not exist. The perfect opportunity does not exist in the way you imagine. Life does not open doors for those who stand frozen in fear. It opens for those who dare to knock. It opens for those who move with purpose. It opens for those who trust that they have something valuable to offer, even when the world has not yet recognized it. If you wait for certainty, you will wait forever. Time rewards the bold, the curious, the persistent. Time lifts those who lift themselves. Do not waste your time defending the dreams that live in your heart. They were placed there for a reason. Not everyone will understand them, and that is fine. Not everyone will support them, and that is fine. Not everyone will believe in what you are building, and that is fine. Dreams are not given to crowds. They are given to individuals. They are placed in the hands of those strong enough to carry them and faithful enough to pursue them. Waste no time explaining your vision to those who lack sight. Waste no time watering dead plants. Waste no time seeking applause from those who have never clapped for anyone but themselves. There will be days when you feel tired, when you feel overlooked, when you feel forgotten by the world. But you must remember that time has not forgotten you. Every small step you take, every tiny effort, every silent prayer, every act of kindness, every moment of bravery, time keeps them all. Time builds them into something larger, something meaningful. Nothing done with love, with honesty, with intention, with courage is ever wasted. The world may not see your efforts today, but time will reveal them when the season is right for you. And you must not waste your time worrying about who is ahead of you and who is behind you. Life is not a race. It is a journey carved uniquely for each soul. You are not late, you are not early. You are exactly where you need to be to learn what you must learn. The timing of your life is not random. It is woven with purpose. When you waste your time comparing your path to others, you dishonor the divine rhythm of your own journey. Move at your pace. Grow at your pace. Heal at your pace. Bloom at your pace. Nothing meant for you will ever be taken from you, and nothing not meant for you will ever stay. And do not waste your time thinking you are not enough. That lie has stolen more dreams than failure ever has. The truth is that you are more powerful than you know, more capable than you allow yourself to believe, and more necessary to this world than you realize. Your voice matters. Your presence matters. Your existence matters. Time whispers this truth to you every day. If only you would listen. You were never meant to walk with your head bowed, shrinking into the corners of life. You were meant to stand in your fullness, your dignity, your grace. Waste no time doubting your worth. Waste no time letting fear talk you out of your destiny. Life is not measured by how many breaths you take, but by how deeply you allow yourself to live. And living deeply requires intention. It requires waking up each morning and choosing to honor your time instead of letting it slip away unnoticed. It requires investing in your growth, nourishing your spirit, embracing your curiosity, and allowing yourself to become everything you were created to be. It requires saying no to distractions, no to toxic people, no to empty pursuits, and yes to the things that truly matter. You cannot live deeply if you are constantly pulled in directions that drain you. You cannot flourish if your time is spent on things that starve your soul. Time is a sacred currency, and unlike money, once spent, it cannot be earned back. Spend it on people who lift you. Spend it on dreams that pull you forward. Spend it on joy, on learning, on rest, on gratitude. Spend it on conversations that nourish your mind and silence that nourishes your heart. Spend it on experiences that awaken you and choices that strengthen you. And when you feel time pulling you towards something new, trust it. Trust that your spirit knows what it needs. Trust that your journey is unfolding exactly as it should. Trust that wasting your time is no longer an option for the person you are becoming. The hours you hold today are precious. Treat them with tenderness. Treat them with respect. Treat them with courage. because you are not simply passing through time. Time is passing through you. And when the day comes when you look back at the trail you have walked, may you smile knowing that you honored every moment, every lesson, every breath. May you know deep in your soul that you did not waste the gift you were given. May you know that you lived fully, loved freely, grew boldly, and rose beautifully into the person you were always meant to become. Time is one of the most sacred gifts you possess, and yet it is the one thing people will try to take from you without hesitation. There are individuals who walk into your life wearing the smile of a friend, but carrying the intentions of a thief. They do not steal your money, your home, or your possessions. They steal your hours, your focus, your peace. They drain you not with force, but with distraction. They pull you into conversations that go nowhere, problems that are not yours, and cycles that keep you standing still when you were meant to be moving forward. Protecting your time begins with recognizing who respects it and who only wants to use it for their convenience. It is not cruelty to set boundaries, it is self-respect. You cannot grow in soil that is constantly being stepped on. You cannot rise when you are surrounded by those who are comfortable with your stagnation. There will always be people who bring chaos where you are trying to create calm. They will call you only when they need something, visit only when their world is falling apart, and seek you out only when they want your energy to refill the emptiness in their own lives. They are not interested in your progress, your goals, or your inner peace. They are interested in what you can give them, what you can fix for them, what you can sacrifice on their behalf. And if you are not careful, you will spend so much time trying to rescue them that you forget to rescue yourself. You must learn the difference between helping someone and enabling them. Helping empowers both, but enabling drains one while feeding the other. Your time is too precious to be spent pouring into people who refuse to pour into themselves. Protecting your time also means listening to the quiet voice inside you that knows when something feels wrong, heavy, or out of place. Your intuition does not shout, but it speaks with clarity. It tells you when someone's presence leaves you feeling smaller instead of stronger. It tells you when you walk away from a conversation feeling drained instead of lifted. It tells you when giving your time to someone feels like walking into a room with no air. When your spirit feels tired, pay attention. Tiredness is often the first sign that someone has pulled too much from your energy without giving anything in return. And if you ignore that sign, you will find yourself exhausted not from what you are doing, but from who you are allowing into your space. There is a kind of peace that comes only when you stop letting the wrong people have access to your life. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Not everyone deserves to know your dreams, your fears, your plans, your heart. Some people only want information so they can weigh you down with doubt. Some want access only so they can interrupt your progress. Some want closeness so they can keep you from growing beyond the version of you they are comfortable with. Protect your time by protecting your circle. Protect your circle by protecting your spirit. You do not have to explain yourself. You do not have to justify your boundaries. You do not have to feel guilty for choosing yourself. Your time belongs to you, and not everyone is worthy of it. So many people spend their entire lives waiting for the right moment, the right feeling, the right sign, the right alignment of circumstances that will magically make everything easy. They tell themselves they will start when they feel confident, when they have more money, when they get permission, when life finally becomes smooth. But life has never moved according to our comfort. Life grows us by pulling us into the unknown, by urging us to begin even when we feel unsure, by pushing us to trust the small steps that lead towards something greater. Waiting for perfect conditions is another form of fear dressed in patience. It convinces you that your dream needs a different season, a different version of yourself, a different kind of certainty. But the truth is that perfection is a myth we cling to so we can avoid taking responsibility for our own potential. Progress does not come to those who wait for the ideal moment. It comes to those who begin despite the imperfections around them. When you choose to start with what you have, you honor your journey instead of postponing it. You teach yourself that growth is not a sudden explosion of success, but the accumulation of small, courageous choices. The people you admire did not wait for the world to clear a path for them. They stepped into the wilderness and carved one with their own hands. They did not wait for fear to disappear. They moved forward while fear trembled beside them. They did not wait for applause. They showed up in silence and did the work anyway. There is a quiet strength in beginning before you feel ready, because readiness is something that grows through action, not contemplation. The more you move, the more prepared you become. The more you try, the more capable you feel. The more you risk, the more resilient you become. Waiting keeps you stagnant. Movement awakens parts of you that waiting could never touch. You cannot allow hesitation to rob you of opportunities that are meant to shape you. Every dream has a doorway, and that doorway never opens wider just because you wait. If anything, the longer you stand outside, the heavier the door feels. You must learn to turn the handle even when your hands shake. You must learn to trust that the moment you take one step, the ground will rise to meet your feet. Starting with what you have does not mean settling, it means respecting the power of beginnings. A seed is small, but it grows into something vast when nurtured. Your efforts may look small now, but they carry the potential for greatness if you stay committed. Do not underestimate the beauty of small starts. Do not dismiss the strength found in slow progress. Those who learn to work with what is available to them become unstoppable when more becomes possible. Life rewards those who choose action over excuses. You may not have perfect resources, perfect support, or perfect clarity, but you have breath, you have vision, you have intention. And sometimes that is all you need to begin creating a life that honors who you are becoming. The path may not look smooth, but it will strengthen you with every step. The timing may not feel ideal, but it will teach you resilience. The circumstances may not be perfect, but they will shape you into someone who no longer fears imperfection. Starting now, with what you have, is the most powerful declaration that you refuse to waste the time you have been given. There is a heaviness that settles in the heart when it clings too tightly to what has already passed. Pain has a way of convincing you that holding on is safer than letting go, that remembering every wound will somehow protect you from future hurt. But the truth is that carrying old sorrow only steals the space where new joy could have lived. When you allow yesterday's grief to dominate today's spirit, you let moments that no longer exist decide the shape of your future. You were never meant to walk forward while dragging the weight of everything that broke you. Healing does not begin with forgetting, it begins with releasing. It begins with understanding that you cannot rewrite what happened, but you can choose what remains in your hands. Some memories are meant to teach, not to stay. Some wounds are meant to be acknowledged, not worshipped. And some endings are meant to free you even when they hurt. The past has its place, but its place is not in the center of your life. You dishonor your own strength when you replay what hurt you more often than you celebrate what healed you. Pain may have shaped you, but it is not meant to imprison you. There are stories inside you that deserve more attention than your heartbreak. There are dreams waiting to be discovered beyond the shadows of old disappointments. But you cannot see them clearly if your eyes remain fixed on moments that can no longer be changed. The more you grip the past, the more it grips you back. And it does so with a quiet persistence that drains your energy, dulls your purpose, and dims your spirit. Letting go is not about pretending the pain never existed. It is about choosing not to carry it into every new chapter of your life. When you release what has wounded you, you create room for what can grow you. You make space for new connections, new confidence, new peace. You allow yourself to experience life without the filter of old fear. You begin to understand that closure is not something you receive, it is something you create. It comes from acknowledging that you deserve to walk unburdened, that you deserve to feel light again, that you deserve to experience moments without the shadow of yesterday leaning over your shoulder. The day you decide to stop nurturing your pain is the day your healing begins to breathe. And healing does not always announce itself with grand declarations. Sometimes it begins with the simple act of choosing to stop revisiting the places where your heart was broken. You cannot let your future be shaped by hands that are no longer part of your journey. You cannot let old betrayal teach you to distrust every new kindness. You cannot let one closed door convince you that every door ahead will remain shut. Life is constantly offering you new moments, new lessons, new possibilities, but you must have open hands to receive them. Holding on to hurt keeps your hands full. It keeps your heart guarded. It keeps your spirit tired. Release does not mean weakness. It is one of the greatest acts of strength a person can choose. It takes courage to loosen your grip, to breathe deeply, and to walk forward without needing closure from those who hurt you. It takes strength to believe that the next chapter of your life can hold more beauty than the chapters that came before. There is a sacred kind of growth that takes place in the silence of your own effort, the kind of growth that no one sees, no one celebrates, no one claps for, yet it changes you in ways that are undeniable. These quiet moments are where your real transformation begins. When the world is loud and demanding, when everyone seems to be moving faster than you, it is in the private corners of your life. Those early mornings, those late nights, those solitary hours, where your strength is shaped. People often admire the results but overlook the unseen labor, the discipline that happens when no one is watching. They see the flower but not the roots. They see the rise but not the struggle. They see the victory, but not the lonely path you walk to reach it. And that is why valuing your private moments of growth is essential, because those moments are the foundation on which everything meaningful is built. There is a quiet dignity in choosing to work on yourself without needing applause. The world teaches you to showcase every step, to prove your worth through visibility, to measure your progress by how many people notice it. But the deepest growth does not need an audience. It needs commitment. It needs honesty. It needs patience with yourself. It requires looking inward instead of outward, measuring your progress not by comparison, but by the person you were yesterday. In these private moments, you face the truth of who you are, your fears, your strengths, your patterns, your potential. You can hide from the world, but you cannot hide from yourself. Growth demands that you confront the shadows you have avoided and nurture the parts of you that have long been neglected. The world may call your private effort small, but small does not mean insignificant. The seed that breaks open in the dark soil is unseen, yet it carries the promise of a blooming garden. Your silent practices, your unspoken prayers, your quiet self-reflections, your private discipline. These are not wasted moments. They are sacred investments. They build resilience. They sharpen your focus. They expand your capacity. You may not see the transformation immediately, but one day you will look back and realize that who you have become was shaped by the moments you thought no one noticed. And the truth is, those silent moments were never meant to be noticed by others. They were meant to be noticed by you. They were meant to deepen you, to strengthen your core, to give you a sense of pride that comes not from external validation but from internal evolution. When you value your private growth, you stop seeking shortcuts. You stop rushing your journey. You stop measuring your worth through the eyes of others. Instead, you begin to appreciate every moment of learning, every small victory, every quiet breakthrough. You begin to understand that the person you become in private determines the person you appear to be in public. You cannot fake integrity. You cannot pretend discipline. You cannot display character that has not been cultivated over time. These qualities are built slowly, consistently, through choices that no one ever sees. And because they are built in silence, they are unshakable when the noise of the world tries to shake you. These private moments also hold the power to heal you in ways that public recognition never will. When you sit with yourself, in honesty, without judgment, you give yourself permission to release the pain you carry. Reflection becomes medicine. Solitude becomes a sanctuary. You begin to hear the voice inside you that is often drowned out by the chaos of daily life. This voice knows your purpose, your wounds, your dreams, your calling. It whispers truth into your spirit when everything else feels uncertain. You must create space to listen. You must honor the time that allows you to connect with yourself. Growth is not only about becoming better, it is about becoming aligned with who you truly are. In these quiet hours, You also redefine your relationship with time. You realize that productivity is not always visible action. Sometimes the most meaningful work is the internal work. Sorting through your emotions, understanding your triggers, strengthening your boundaries, learning discipline, learning patience, learning yourself. The world celebrates constant movement, but real growth often comes from stillness. In stillness, you find clarity. In clarity, you find direction. In direction, you find purpose. And with purpose, you move through life not with haste, but with intention. The people around you may not always recognize how hard you are working on yourself, but their recognition is not required. You are not growing for applause. You are growing for your future. You are growing so you can meet the opportunities that await you. You are growing so you can withstand challenges that once would have broken you. You are growing so you can love yourself more deeply and trust yourself more fully. You are growing so you can step into the next version of your life without fear that you are unprepared. Protect these private moments because they are the quiet heartbeats of your transformation. Do not let distractions steal them from you. Do not let noise drown them. Do not let people who do not understand the value of silence convince you that you are doing nothing. You are doing everything. You are building a future that rests on the strongest foundation a person can have. The foundation of inner strength, inner clarity, inner truth, and inner growth. Not every dream you carry is meant to be shared with the world. And certainly not every dream is meant to be defended. There are people who hear your vision and shrink it down to the limits of their own imagination. There are people who cannot see past their own fear long enough to understand your courage. Some will respond with jealousy, some with doubt, some with ridicule, and some with a silence that speaks louder than any criticism. But none of these reactions have anything to do with the power of your dream. They reflect the limitations of the people who witness it, not the potential of the vision planted in you. When you learn not to defend your dreams to those who lack sight, you protect not only your purpose but also your peace. You preserve your energy for the work that matters. You commit to walking forward even when the world behind you does not understand the direction you have chosen. There is a dangerous habit many fall into, the habit of seeking approval for every step they take. They expose their dreams to people who have no history of believing in others. They share their passion with people who have never nurtured anything of their own. They ask for validation from those who do not even validate themselves. And in doing so, they allow their dreams to be talked out of their hands. A dream is delicate in its early stages, fragile like a new flame. It needs tending, protection, nourishment. But when you defend it to the wrong people, you expose it to winds strong enough to extinguish it. People who lack vision cannot offer guidance. They can only offer the limitations of their own experiences. Their opinions are shaped by fear, by regret, by the choices they never made, and by the life they never allowed themselves to live. You must learn to guard your dreams the way a mother guards her child. Carefully, faithfully, and without apology. Not everyone deserves access to the tender beginnings of what you are building. Not everyone deserves to hold something so sacred. Some will judge it because it is yours, not because it lacks merit. Some will oppose it because it reminds them of everything they have not become. And some will simply not understand it, not because the dream is impossible, but because it was never given to them. You cannot expect someone to support what they were never meant to carry. You cannot expect them to applaud a vision they cannot see. When you waste time defending your dream to the wrong people, you tie yourself to their blindness instead of trusting your own sight. The truth is, not every dream needs an audience. Some dreams grow in silence. Some unfold in the privacy of your own commitment. Some require solitude so they can deepen in strength before being revealed. There is power in the dreams you work on quietly, without explaining, without announcing, without performing. These dreams grow stronger because they are rooted in intention rather than approval. They are driven by purpose rather than applause. They are shaped by discipline rather than validation. When you build in silence, you protect yourself from premature criticism, from unnecessary comparison, from the noise that can drown out the voice of your own intuition. Silence becomes your shield. Focus becomes your companion. Purpose becomes your guide. When you refuse to defend your dream, you also develop a confidence that does not rely on the shifting beliefs of others. You learn to trust your instincts more than the opinions around you. You learn to honor your calling even when no one else believes in it. You learn to walk with certainty when others expect you to stumble. This self-trust becomes a weapon against doubt, a shield against discouragement. It allows you to keep moving even when the road feels lonely, even when the results are slow, even when the world is silent. Dreams that survive without external validation become unbreakable, because they are fueled by something deeper than approval. They are fueled by conviction. Some people will ask you to explain your dream, not because they want to understand it, but because they want to find reasons it will not work. They want to pick it apart, point out its flaws, list its risks, highlight its uncertainties. Their questions are not rooted in curiosity, but in subtle discouragement. They do not want clarity, they want control. And when you defend your dream in those moments, you give them exactly what they are seeking: power. Power to plant doubt in your mind. Power to influence your decisions. Power to shape your direction. Protect your dream by refusing to hand it to those who lack the ability to nurture it. Not every question deserves an answer. Not every challenge deserves a response. Not every critic deserves your attention. There is also a quiet kind of strength in walking away from conversations that are not aligned with your purpose. You do not owe explanations to those who will never understand your passion. You do not owe clarity to those committed to misunderstanding you. Your dreams are not public property. They are the sacred blueprints of your future. Some people will see your dream and feel threatened by it. Others will feel confused by it. And some will feel indifferent toward it entirely. But the dream does not belong to them. It belongs to you. And because it belongs to you, you have the right to protect it, nurture it, and pursue it without justifying it to anyone. You must learn to trust the whispers of your own spirit more than the noise of the world. The vision that lives within you was not placed there by accident. It was given to you because you are capable of carrying it. You are capable of growing it. You are capable of becoming the person needed to bring it to life. But if you spend your time trying to convince others of its value, you will drain the energy you need to actually pursue it. Time wasted on defending your dream is time stolen from building it. Reflection, discipline, learning, trial and error. These are the actions that move a dream forward. Defending it to doubters only slows you down. There is a quiet beauty in realizing you no longer have to argue for your place in the world. You no longer have to explain why you desire more. You no longer have to justify your goals. You no longer have to shrink your dream so others can feel comfortable. When you stop defending your dream, you allow it to grow without restriction. You free yourself from the opinions that once held you back. You create space for the dream to grow into its full power. And as it grows, so do you. You begin to walk with a confidence that is not loud, but steady. Not flashy, but grounded. Not boastful, but unshakable. The world has a way of trying to shape you into something smaller, something safer, something more predictable. But your dream is the part of you that refuses to shrink. It is the part that insists you were meant for more. It is the part that speaks to you in the quiet moments, reminding you of everything you still want to create, become, and experience. When you defend it, you weaken its voice. When you protect it, you strengthen it. When you honor it, you honor yourself. When you begin to understand the true value of time, you start to see how much of it you've given away to situations, people, and habits that never added to your growth. You start to recognize how easily you allowed distractions to pull you away from yourself, how often you said yes when your spirit was pleading for you to say no, how many days you wasted waiting for permission to live the life that was already calling your name. There is a quiet ache that comes from realizing how much of your precious time you have handed to worry, to confusion, to fear, to proving yourself, to waiting for the approval of voices that never knew your heart. But once you recognize that ache, once you see that time is not a river you can step back into, you begin to move differently. You begin to guard your hours as if they were jewels, because in truth they are far more valuable. You start to learn that not everyone deserves access to your time, and not every situation deserves a place in your day. You understand that time is not something you can retrieve once it slips through your fingers, so you begin to become intentional. The invitations you used to accept without thought start to lose their shine. The conversations that used to drain you no longer hold the power they once did. The people who kept you small, uncertain, or doubtful begin to fade into the distance, not because you are cruel, but because you finally understand that your time must be spent in the company of what strengthens you. And you start to recognize the subtle ways you once betrayed yourself by giving your time to things that did not align with the truth of who you are. You see the moments you stayed silent when you should have spoken, the moments you lingered where your spirit was urging you to move on, the moments you let your dreams sit untouched while you catered to the expectations of others. There comes a shift when you realize that protecting your time is not selfishness. It is wisdom. It is maturity. It is self-respect. The world will ask for your time in 1,000 different ways. People will ask for it with their problems, their demands, their chaos, their expectations, and sometimes their inability to carry their own burdens. But you learn that you cannot pour out every drop of yourself just because someone holds out an empty cup. You begin to understand that you must choose where your time goes with the same care you choose where your heart goes. And when you begin to choose wisely, when you start placing your time into things that nourish your mind, your soul, your purpose, your peace, you start to grow in ways you never imagined. Your confidence expands when you stop wasting time on what was never meant for you. Your clarity sharpens when you stop chasing things that were only meant to distract you. Your path becomes easier to walk when you stop bending your time around the needs of people who never considered the weight they placed on your shoulders. And slowly, you begin to reclaim the hours you once surrendered. The hours spent in self-doubt, in comparing yourself to others, in shrinking to make others comfortable. You reclaim the hours spent explaining yourself, justifying yourself, convincing people to understand a vision that was never theirs to carry. You reclaim the hours spent trying to fix what was breaking you, hold on to what was slipping away, revive what had already served its season. You reclaim your time by choosing yourself, and as you reclaim it, you begin to fill it with what matters. You take time to rest without apology. You take time to grow without distraction. You take time to practice joy, gratitude, silence, creativity, learning, healing. You begin to move slower in moments that deserve your presence and faster in moments that require your wisdom. You begin to give your time to the people who uplift you, speak truth into you, challenge you lovingly, and remind you that your existence is not a burden, but a gift. You give your time to your dreams, watering them not just with intention, but with action. You give your time to becoming the version of yourself you always suspected you could be. You start to realize that, when you no longer waste your time, life begins to open. Doors that once felt locked begin to respond to your persistence. Opportunities that once hid from you begin to reveal themselves. The path that once felt heavy becomes lighter, because you are no longer dragging the weight of unnecessary commitments. You begin to see that you were never lacking opportunities. You were lacking the time and clarity to notice them. You see that you were never unworthy of your dreams. You simply hadn't created enough space in your life to pursue them fully. Time was the missing piece, and now that you hold it in your hands, you start to use it with intention, devotion, and reverence, and as you continue, you learn that every time you choose not to waste your time, you are choosing to honor your future self. You are choosing to prepare the ground for what you want to grow. You are choosing to protect your peace, your focus, your energy. You are choosing to walk away from anything that steals from your hours, your spirit, your purpose. You learn to say no with clarity, yes with conviction, and maybe with caution. You learn to unclutter your life, your mind, your relationships. You learn to love yourself enough to stop giving your time to what harms you emotionally, spiritually, or mentally. There is a powerful transformation that takes place when you realize that your time is not measured by the clock alone, but by the quality of your decisions. You begin to notice the small ways you can reclaim your day by choosing silence over chaos, growth over stagnation, truth over comfort, purpose over distraction. Each moment becomes a chance to choose what aligns with your highest self. Each hour becomes a mirror reflecting what you value. And slowly, your life becomes shaped not by who demanded your time, but by who earned it, by what earned it, by what nourished it. You begin to understand that time is not something to kill or waste or pass. It is something to honor, something to shape, something to build with. It becomes your most trusted companion on the journey to becoming who you were always meant to be,